As that alleged plot was broken up, the New York Police Department defended its monitoring of Muslim student associations. The Associated Press reports that the NYPD reached out to many colleges hundreds of miles from the city. Senior correspondent John Miller is a former FBI assistant director and headed the Los Angeles Police Department's Counterterrorism Bureau. John, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
So tell me what this is about.
This is about really a fairly new phenomenon in some respects in policing, which is what is the difference between investigation, where you're trying to prove that somebody's committed a crime with the goal of arresting them, and intelligence collection, where you're trying to assess where a threat may exist, and you're just gathering information on people. And this is a very touchy subject.
And so what does the New York Police Department say it is doing and why?
Well, what the New York City Police Department says it was doing was, quoting now, trying to get a handle on the Muslim Students Association. And to justify that, they rattled off a list of a dozen cases involving terrorist acts where the prime actors were members of the Muslim Students Association. And you have people like Umar Farouk Abdul Muttalib, who was the so-called underwear bomber, Anwar Awlaki, al-Qaeda's master propagandist, who was a leader in the Muslim Students Association, Adam Gaddan, al-Qaeda's spokesman, and more. What they said is they were trying to assess regionally what the threat was from that group, or if there was one.
The concern, though, John, has been that is perhaps the NYPD overstepping its bounds in some way, or are they being transparent enough? Two issues, but two concerns. Can you address those for us? What's the finding?
Well, there isn't a finding yet because the transparency is a little opaque there. I mean, the FBI version of this is that, you had a Office of Intelligence Policy Review at the Justice Department looking over your shoulder. You had the Inspector General. If they found a violation, they would write a report and publish it. You had 4 or 5 congressional committees that could examine these things and were briefed on them regular. The NYPD isn't in that situation. They have an internal committee that has one external member. And there isn't a lot of exposure of what goes on to the public.
Is there a difference in opinion between different law enforcement agencies as to whether they should be doing this?
Well, I think the jury is out on that one. I mean, the real question here is, what are the standards? The federal standards are, we couldn't investigate anything, either when I was in the FBI or the LAPD, where it was activities protected by the Constitution, freedom of speech. You could say, I hate America, but you couldn't say, I want to kill Americans. And I think the jury's out on what the NYPD's standard is on that, and that's what the continuing questions will be.
Thank you, John.